So now we will do a fan take. And remember the rule. To do a fan take, you do not write your comment in the YouTube channel. We don't necessarily even read those. What you do, subscribe to the Last Free Nation Discord, and there's a separate channel that says like LOL hot takes. When you are in there, I will remind you every time, so none of you can ever complain. If you don't want your name read out with the take, please say, do not read my name, please. Because everyone else doesn't write that. So we're about to say your name, motherfucker. So, hot take number 1 from the fans. Someone called Jay, and it looks like it's written Korean Jay, you know, J-A-E.
Oh, all right, okay.
He says, Bjergsen going to North America was the biggest downfall of the NA League due to his success leading to NA importing instead of developing more talents, such as the original Cloud9 team. Thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Thoughts?
Holy.
No,
It's a hot take. It's certainly a hot take.
We have a man, right, who thinks he knows NALCS, but he doesn't really. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to drop some names on you. Okay?
Go on.
In 2013, there was a bunch of NA mid laners and talented NA mid laners coming through. So you had Link, Pole Belter, Shifter.
Yeah.
Don't just because he's a fucking meme. Shifter was a high.
He was good at the time,
player,
yeah.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
right. And I'm going to mention someone else here, a guy called ManCloud.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
ManCloud in 2013 was the fucking dog's bollocks, by the way. But the problem is he had this deficiency. They were tilt and int monsters, and they were the biggest chokers you have ever seen. That little conglomerate of like NA mids were very, very good. Not as good as the EU guys. They weren't as good as the EU guys. But they were very, very, very good. And the problem is that orgs just felt that they didn't have like the lasting power, right? Because relative to like Bjergsen had all these highlights reels versus them and all these stuff. And what we didn't know at the time was that even for like EU, not entirely, but a little bit, Bjergsen was a bit of a black swan in terms of he was actually quite a special, like talismanic player who'd go on to be one of the best. Like, I'm sure if Bjergsen had played in the EU, he maybe not have had been the same like Bjergsen, but it has still been known as a very, very, very good European player. And then because of that, right, that little like group of like players getting like dogged on by Bjergsen, that was it. But the talent was like there, but the teams just chose to like move away, and then you ended up with all like the dodgy. Yeah, a team. Well, first of all, one team literally turned Chinese.
Yeah,
so there goes like there goes a percentage. There's 1/10 of your slots just gone. Then what do you call it? The high like risk problem like thing happened. So they literally lost one of like their best players, and Higher had like role swap, and they went away and got like Jensen and stuff like that. So there was loads and loads of all these factors. But the thing is that if you go and look at it, there were so many attempts to try and replace these people. Who's the guy that looks like fucking? He's American. He looks like he was just a default American character. He's actually Bjergsen's like friend. He was in all those failed TL rosters. Thorin. What is it in like 2017?
Give me the role at least, for fuck's sake.
Oh, the mid laner.
Jesus Christ.
He's got the blonde hair. I can't remember what his name is.
And is he an import?
No, he's not an import. He's an actual NA player, but he could never make it. That was the point. I'll go find his name. But anyway, Golden Glue. There we go.
Golden Glue. Fucking hell. I've never guessed that in a million years. Okay.
The amount of chances they gave people like Golden Glue. Right. Okay.
No, it's true.
Yeah, you don't realise they gave all these like people like, oh, they ditched all these rookies. It's like they didn't. They tried them over and over and over and over again, and guess what? They were dog shit. They were really, really, really bad. Basically, like, 2 of them could hang, which was like Pole Belter, as long as he's double lift with his ADC, and then like, who else? Fuck, I can't even think of the other name at the time. But it wasn't good.
I have names if you want. I can take I can take the torch and keep going. I work there, right? It has been my job for 2 years and a half. I kind of know a little bit. So there is this very weird thinking coming from the North American community, and that there is a decision from the management of the orgs to not go for NA talent. If the NA talent, right, was as good as the imported talent, while being cheaper because they come from Division 2, everybody would battle over it.
It would be like the ERLs. It would be like LFL players. They'd all come straight to LEC, wouldn't they? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you look at like, okay, over the years. So I picked 2020. I remember my choice was either Damonte, Pobelter, or I went with Aka because I wanted to try to like promote someone, right? I mean, it backfired on me, but I went for a tryout. Soligo, never made it. Damonte won some things, but was capped. Ryoma was imported. Palafox did decent. Ablaze Olive, everybody forgot about it. Insanity, I was coaching him, was not enough after a year, got replaced. Go on 2014, Link, left. Pubelter was already there. Shifter, you said it. Boy, Scara, when content creator. Golden Glue took 3 years to pop and become relevant in Cloud9 Academy. Reginald, Manclad, like these players played. And they lost. They lost their spot to Power of Evil. They lost their spot to Crown. They lost their spot to Jensen. They lost their spot to I'm trying to find like Jizuke, to Niski. They just lost their spot because they were not good enough. Like there was not a single reason for coaches and owners not to go for a player that you can play. And I'm speaking big NA LCS money, right? Like 2015 to 2021. You had to spend an immense amount of money to import. It was extremely expensive. And the players coming from Challenger Series were extremely cheap. Like a player from Challenger Series will play for most the base salary, whereas like an import will play hundreds of thousands of dollars. But yet, if you went for a rookie and you didn't have the perfect scouting, you would just literally last. And everybody who tried that to go for full NA eventually lost. And I don't think that Bjergsen has anything to do with it. He was just the first of a long series of all players from abroad are better at mid lane. Because there is not a big list of mid laners from NA that did something. I think Jojo Pune is like one of the last ones. And even the current, if you look at the current meta and the current LEC, right, LTA now, there is not that many NA mids, right? There's never been. So I feel like it's so. I feel like you said it well, Kira. It's like he thinks he understands, but like everybody will hire the cheap talent if they were there. I promise.
They would. Like that's the thing.
No, by the way, what's funny about this take is I know what you mean. There's a grain of not truth but like logic to it, which is what Kira said, which is it is true that they definitely didn't actually like get the most out of their original crop of NA talent. Like it's not like NA was like half as good as EU and then they brought the EU players. At the time they were vaguely comparable. If you don't know the ManCloud player he referenced, I think at the time had like the record for most solo kills in a split or something. He had like some crazy stat like that, or most kills in the league or something. So these players were all good. But yeah, when you saw them go international, that's why immediately GMs were like, oh, let's bring in a fucking EU player. Like, why waste our time with this? Because the problem also you've had here is, notice you're making the mistake of acting like it's just... You're almost doing what people do with all like racial quota arguments. You're acting like it's just because someone did do this approach that the outcome went this way. No, like also like this is what the resources were. Like NA doesn't have as many players, and especially as the years went on, has less talents to work with. So there's more people you can choose from. Not just in Europe. I mean, if anything, the last 4 or 5 years hasn't been about EU. It's about finding like the challenger Korean player who hasn't been on an LCKM team yet. That's actually been the most OP value in years and years. Or reclaiming a player like Kana with Carmine Corp. That's the other one you do. You get the one that still has a few years left, but he can come to your team, you know. I mean, the joke is Zabatine did that himself with Crown, didn't he? And it actually was good. People do forget that, by the way. They always go, Crown, the worst player in one world. You know, after that, he went back and played in Zabatine's Immortals, and he was an Optic, rather, sorry, and he was good. He actually had some fucking games he straight carried. Like, he had some TF games that were fucking dope, mate. He was a really good player. First things first, I'll do 2 quick angles on this. One, let's just start now. So the people who don't know the history don't go, well, I didn't watch the game. Let's just do modern day mids, shall we? Because by the way, spoiler, your biggest problem, if you want to say NA shouldn't import, is mid lane's the most important in the game. And NA, as pointed out in this discussion, has some of the least mid lane talent ever. Meanwhile, what region that also speaks the same language as them has loads of NA, has loads of mids? Europe! It's why Abadagi, by the way, you don't go there when you're at your best. You go there when you're unknown, or after that. You go there when they won't give you the gig anymore. So the problem is, EU just produces mid laners. We all know that. They do it to this day. We still just churn them out of VRLs that like have a chance. And the joke is, by the way, probably more of them could go to NA. Some of them could go and take some of those fucking slots off players now, but they just don't get the hype. So I will just say this. Think of the modern day people we've been told, because obviously the problem with the ManCloud example is, Kiwi, someone will have to be over 12 years in the game to know what the fuck that example is. I'll just use the last 3 or 4 years, right? Remember some of the big name mids we were supposed to respect? Parlofox. Which one of you, right this second, NA fan, would tell me Cloud9 should recruit Palafox tomorrow? You don't even care about Palafox anymore. And that was only fucking 1.5 years ago. Then let's go to, like, last year's run. You all glazed FlyQuest. They didn't have any fucking NA players. It's all just Europeans, and like that was a mid laner doing from Korea, doing all that work. So the problem is, first of all, these players, contracts, hey, you know, they gave up on him in LCS. Yeah, you see why now? He was never on the level of Jankos and Inspired You Idiot. He just had like the odd season he was good, and then he had splits where he wasn't good, and he's had times when he wasn't good at all. So my problem is, first of all, the talent isn't there the way he implies. Hence why the whole question wasn't him listing 15 names that didn't get a chance. He didn't list any fucking names, did he? He just said something, the original Cloud9. That's it. Like, that's all he gave me. Like, go on.
I have a question.
Go on.
How many in the current LTA North playoff, how many North American players there is?
I'm going to guess
not counting
like 3 or something ridiculous. What is it?
It's 8 out of the 6 teams. If you take Team Liquid, Cloud9 Team, FlyQuest, Cloud9 Team Liquid, Shopify Rebellion, 100 Thief, and Dignitas.
Oh, right, it's all 6 teams,
only
right?
8 North American players. Only 8.
That's good. I like that. That's good. That's going to come on to my next point. That tells you something.
Also, here's the other thing. I'll just do a very, very quick run through as the historian. So if you want to just take the best placings NA has ever had, every single one of them involves an import player. Let me quickly run through. I'll go in reverse order. So last Worlds, FlyQuest made top 8. Fuck all NA players in there. Then in Season 13 Worlds, NRG made top 8. Spoiler, Ignar is Korean and will always be Korean and will never be an American player. Tell me which American engaged fucking support player would have done that role. There isn't one. So skip past that one. Then we'll go to how about when Team Liquid made that MSI final. Core JJ was the man and is the main reason that they beat fucking IG, and by the way, Jensen was there too. Then go to Season 8 when Cloud9 made semis at Worlds. Jensen and Svenskeren won that team. They're in no context NA players. Keep going back. You can go to, even, by the way, this is more of a technicality, but even when CLG made that MSI final, Hui was born in France, I believe. He is French and then ethnically Korean. I know he has like American citizenship or whatever, but like you're fucking pushing the boat out if that's your NA talent. That's all I'm going to say. People born in France who lived in Korea, you know what I mean? Like, give me a break. So all I'm going to say is, and by the way, even your beloved TSM, remember the one time they made top 8? They had Lost Boy, a literal OGN champion, sitting in their team, and they were coached by a Korean. Like, bro, there isn't this NA team. The joke is, it's only the Cloud9 team you mentioned. And by the way, do you remember when that Cloud9 team then made upgrades? They got way better by putting Jensen in the team. What do you guys, your own examples count against you. So, spoiler, Jay, you weren't the one we were all going to go. Great hot take. You were the one that got roasted. That was your role on this particular episode. Thank you to you for submitting your question. We have summarily roasted every aspect of everything you've said. And at the end, I just want to know, how is NA going to produce good League of Legends players when they can't even produce good hot takes? That's just mean. That's just mean at the end, but whatever. Listen, it's just mean, isn't it? But I don't even technically know if he's from NA, but I'm just dissing him too, yeah. He can catch the straight also. It's all good. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.